My strength comes from people who walk this path of keep moving movement. We have people like Tahir Bhai. Tahir Bhai, are you there? There he is. You know, he's been a part of this movement from 2001. He's very close to us. He's one of the pillars of Life School, Keep Moving movement, and everything that we do. And even today, if a session will happen, let's say at 11 o'clock, and if his house is 12 to 13 minutes away from that place, he will leave his home at least 1 hour in advance. He says it's much wiser to sit in the car outside the school or college where I'm going than sit in my house and do some last minute work. Let me move into the right frame of mind. After all, we are going to mold children inside the classroom. In his own right, he's a super successful man. In his own way, he has hundreds of people who work with him. In his own way, every day he touches hundreds of lives and inspires people like nobody's business. You talk to any builder in town, and the moment you name him, the moment you mention the name Tahir Chiniwala, and their eyes goes up in admiration that what Tahir Bhai can do, nobody else can do. With all these accomplishments in life, still this kind of clarity and commitment that it's better for me to sit outside the school for 20, 25 minutes and rehearse the session, revise the session, and not taking a chance to even 1 second late. Now, when we have people like Tahir Bhai in the fraternity, when you know how much he is going to do for the teams, by natural, it gives us a lot of strength. So, Bhai, thank you so much. Then we have people like Anil Kalra. One of the most regular people to life lessons. We have a team of about 70, 80 people who I know will be there Sunday after Sunday in life lessons. And the entire week, the mind is thinking about what can be done so that they grow in life. One of them is Anil Kalra. If he ever has to miss a Sunday, he doesn't inform that I am not going to be there. He asks, Naren, this is a wedding which is there of my niece, which is in so and so place. So is it okay if I'm not there this Sunday for life lessons? You know, when somebody says that, you put so much effort to create a session for us, thinking about us in mind. And if we are not present in that session, that is the way I disrespect you. I disrespect my teacher by taking him for granted. And with all the love, he will be there present every Sunday. And not only that, if there is any work, all that we need to do is call Anil and say, Anil, ye kaam hai. And he only says 2 words, ho jayega. We spoke about Colonel Sundaresh in session number 2. What did Anil do? There is a Kargil marathon which happens. Those of you who are fond of running, you would have heard about Kargil marathon. Run with the soldier and run for the soldier is the theme of Kargil marathon. Anil promptly sponsored all the t-shirts and all the medals for Kargil marathon. A small incident from Anil's life, which most of us do not know, that how he has been a champ friend. Sachin Tendulkar spoke about his elder brother, Ajit. Let me speak to you about Anil, the child. Like in a few cases, the family got split. Anil's father got the short end of the stick. They were out of the property. Their shops was taken away from them. As a result of which, there was a lot of stress at home. Anil's father developed the habit of smoking. Anil would come back from school, so he's still a school-going child, about 6th or 7th standard, and he will take his father's cigarette away and throw it in the dustbin. His father will get very angry, shout, scream, मैं अपने पैसे का पीता है, मैं मरेगा, तुमको क्या है? You know those kind of stuff. When somebody does something we don't like, many times we resort to hurting them so that they fall in line next time onwards. Anil could take all this shouting and screaming, but again next day when he comes back home, he takes that cigarette and throws it in the dustbin. It went on like this for 3 years. 3 years later on, one day when Anil comes home after school, he sees on Papa's table, there is one chota dabbi with long, another chota dabbi with elaichi. And he looks at his father and says, "Ye kahan se hai?" His father says, "तू इतने दिन से बोल रहा था ना सिगरेट मत पियो, छोड़ दिया, अब से ये खाऊंगा." Anil, needless to say, you will be here. So, can we have Anil for all of us, please? No doubt his sports center is called Shakti Sports. What else would be the apt name but Shakti? When you have people like these around you, who stand by you no matter what, who know that if somebody is doing wrong, it does not mean that person is wrong. This is the time then they need somebody to bring them back on track. When you don't justify a relationship or define a relationship based on some disagreements that happens, but you define the relationship based on what is my goal in that person's life. I mean, I am a son and he is my father, and if he is doing something wrong, it is not about whether he is right or wrong. It's about what is my goal in his life. As a son, what should I do? Like when you go inside the classroom, it's not about the children cooperating, not cooperating, somebody making life difficult for you, somebody is a disturbing element. But it's about when I am inside the classroom, what is the role that I am going to play for my kids? And this is an opportunity to touch their lives. One statement, the right time, the right way, for the right moment, and their life will be completely changed. When you have people like these, you know that we are on the right path. It's only a question of time before this really grows, really expands. And the dream is every school in this country should have, sooner or later, a volunteer from Keep Moving movement going and taking a session. The dream is this should become the largest grassroots movement anywhere in the world. And with people like you, with this movement, anything is possible. Sometimes some people who are not a part of this say this thing, संडे एक ही तो सुबह मिलता है सोने के लिए, उस दिन भी सुबह जल्दी उठाओगे? हाँ, आप उठोगे ना तो 50 और लोग कम से कम जागेंगे, तो उनको जगाने के लिए आप उठो ना. Some of them say yes and join. Some of them, we still have to be champ friends in their life. Have you heard of a word called mesmerize? The word mesmerize is credited to a guy called Franz Mesmer. In the 18th century, Mesmer proposed a theory that everything, whether it's plants, whether it's animals, whether it's a stone, everything has some power. And this power is magnetizing things towards itself. As a result of which, this concept called attracting things towards you started being called as mesmerized. Franz Mesmer also said that this power to magnetize can heal people. Around 1748, a team from US was sent to France to do research on this theory of mesmerize. In the report, the final line which was written was, hope is the most essential aspect of human life. In the 1950s, a research scientist called Kurt Richer did a very gruesome experiment with rats. It was a very interesting experiment. Inhuman, cruel, but super interesting. He took about 12 domesticated rats, put these rats inside a glass container. The first one swam for about 30 seconds, went to the base, took his snout, his nose to the wall, and died. Two more in less than 2 minutes died. But 9 of them did not die immediately. They swam for a long time. Then what did Richard do? He caught hold of an equal number of wild rats. Now, wild rats by nature are very aggressive. And wild rats know how to survive in water. Because in the jungle, when rains happen, when rivulets are formed, there is hardly any place where they can be aram se. Wherever they go, either there is a wild animal already there or it is flowing water. So wild rats are used to fast currents of water also. He took those 12 wild rats, put them inside that glass, and in less than 2 minutes, all of them died. He brought 22 more, total number of 34. All of them died in less than 2 minutes. And this puzzled Richer. Kurt Richer asked this question, that these rats who are aggressive, who know how to survive in even flowing water, how did they die so soon? And what made those 12 rats not give up and keep on swimming? He came to a conclusion that the rats from the jungles, the wild rats, their mind works only in two directions. Either it is to fight or it is flight. Either go ahead and take things head on and destroy, attack, finish it, or run away. In the glass cage, it did not have that environment at all. There was nothing it could fight, and there is nowhere it could run. And it realized that, and it gave up. He then led to the final stage of the experiment, where he took a few rats, mixed them into quantities, the domesticated as well as the wild ones, put them inside the glass bin, and whenever the rats were about to give up, he would take them out for a few seconds and then put them back. Take them out for a few seconds and put them back. He did that 3 times. And guess what? The rats swam for how long? Earlier, the first 3 rats and 34 of them gave up in about 2 minutes. Now with this act of taking them out and then putting them back in 3 times, how long did the rats swim? 60 hours. 60 hours. They gave up in 2 minutes because they decided my situation is hopeless. And they had the capacity to swim for 60 hours. When they were taken out a few times, they developed hope that when I am tired, I will be saved. I will not die. I'm not alone. I don't have to give up. And just this thinking inside that I will be saved gave the rats hope. And the rats who would give up in 2 minutes swam for 60 hours. At the end, Kurt Richter writes in his report, I know human beings and rats are very different. But what I have realized is, in tough situations of life, we must keep swimming. We must keep the efforts on. Okay, forget about rats. Let's talk about me. Better subject? Say na yes. You're looking at me with doubts. Till class 10, my life was very comfortable. I used to always be in the first 3 of the classroom and pretty set. I was the head boy of my school. We had about 3,000 children. I was not yet clear what I want to do with my life. But I was used to attention, accolades, hero worshipping, starry-eyed followers. I had only 2 things going right in my life. One, I was pretty well behaved. And 2, I had good grasping. So I could do well in academics. And since I was the head boy, there would be enough people who will want to be with me or be in my good books. Class 10th, I did really well. 11th and 12th, I went to a school called St. Lawrence High School. My earlier school was Hartley's High School, which was up to 10th. 11th and 12th from St. Lawrence. Now in Calcutta, St. Lawrence is one of the top commerce colleges. I knew I wanted to do something in commerce. The trouble with St. Lawrence was, children from 100 schools who used to be first, second and third in their class were in St. Lawrence. In my class, in spite of my best efforts, I would come only 20th, 21st, 22nd. It went till 25th. And I realized I will never be able to come first with these people. You know, some of them were like Usain Bolt in running, like Roger Federer in tennis, like Rajinikanth in movies. उनके सामने तुम सोच भी नहीं सकते हो कि तुम फर्स्ट आओगे. You know, Muhammad Ali used to say this to his opponents. Even in your dream, if you saw that you challenged me for a fight, next day come and say sorry. How can you even dream of challenging me? So there were some kids like that. Realized first तो नहीं आ सकता. अभी फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड अगर संभव नहीं है तो फिर फालतू में काय को मेहनत करने का. क्योंकि 40% also you will go to the 12th standard and 65% 25th in the class also you will go to the 11th standard. And the wisdom also happened that somebody who scores first, second and third, they will also go to 11th only, no? फिर फालतू में काय को ज्यादा मेहनत करने का. Conserve your energy. Nobody was looking starry-eyed at me anymore. Nobody wanted to be close to me at all. Suddenly, though my performance was the same, but the results and accomplishments looked very different, there was a big dip in self-esteem. I started asking this question to myself, will I ever be good enough? And what did I do for me to feel that I am good? I started wasting time with friends, so-called friends, TP friends, time pass friends. I started finding fault in the teacher as the teacher is teaching. So there would be a teacher who will always stand in like this, and she will teach. And those days, Abdul Qadir was a good leg spinner. Though she was Mrs. Ghosh, we started calling her Mrs. Kadir Askam. And you know how students enjoy at the expense of the teachers. She would come inside the class and half of us will start laughing. She had no idea what's happening. But we used to think that is our identity. See, we are so powerful. We actually started criticizing teachers and finding faults not only in their style but also in what they are teaching. ये उसने बरोबर नहीं सिखाया. I have no idea about that. But to judge, you don't need intelligence, right? Who requires intelligence to judge? So we would start judging the teachers. We would start making fun of those teachers. And my first, time pass with friends. 2, find fault in the mannerisms of the teachers. 3, find fault in what they are teaching itself. And 4th, which was the best, I thought, if I have a girlfriend, all the problems of my life will get solved. Why are all of you so happy? I'm speaking about the miseries of my life. I actually thought if I have a girlfriend, all the problems of my life will get solved. How many of you believe that? Don't raise your hands, just nod your head. Might be embarrassing. I really had a desire I should have a girlfriend. It's a different matter, nobody wanted me as their boyfriend. And I promise to you, in those days, I did have hair. You don't believe me? Look at how my mind was working. If I have a girlfriend, the problems of my life will get solved. If I was better looking, the problems of my life will get solved. If I have friends who are inferior to me, you know, Andho mein Kana Raja? If I have friends who do even less than me, मेरे से भी ज़्यादा नालायक है, उनके साथ घूम. All the problems of your life will get solved. Because you look at them and you say, अरे ये तो तुच्छ प्राणी है. इनके बीच में मैं तो मतलब, I am Mount Everest. Actually used to think, if I have better teachers, all the problem in life get solved. Actually used to think, if the question papers are easier, the problems of my life will get solved. I actually used to think, if the subjects were more interesting, now this is classic, huh? The student does not want to become interesting. The subjects were more interesting, then all the problems of my life will get solved. Don't you agree my thinking was absolutely right? Nahi? Okay, tell me what was wrong with my thinking. Chalo, batao. I want you to do this inside the classroom. You will go to the class and you will make fun of yourself. You will go to the class and you will show to everybody that once upon a time you were very ordinary. You will go to the class and you will speak about your mistakes in class 10th, 11th and 12th. Don't speak about mistake which you made in class 1. 10th, 11th and 12th, in your thinking, what was the blatant mistakes? When you can make fun of yourself, they will trust you more. And when they look at you and look up to you, because of the way you communicate, because of the way you carry wisdom today, in a very beautiful and a subconscious way, the children will believe that even if I am ordinary today, even if I have a low self-esteem today, one of those days I can actually succeed in my life. That is the objective of this session. And how will you take them there? So you'll speak about how stupid you were and how foolish you were. And what is the thinking that we carried? You can share with them about the blame, complaint and excuses that you were making at that point of time, so that that session, which went about a month ago, becomes completely alive in their minds. And then you will ask children inside the classroom that these were my thoughts. Was I right or not? Obviously, no child will say, yes, you were perfectly right, absolutely right. Ask the children, what was wrong in my thinking? Pick up a few children who are a little shy or people who have been very actively being involved in your class and ask them, what do you think was wrong in my thinking? And then bring another twist. So far, is the session clear to you? Now, the beauty of this session is, it will help you to deal with enough things of your past. You will believe that to be honest is brilliant. You'll understand that if you had carried weaknesses and if people have made fun of you and if you have failed earlier in life, and if people know about that, it's not a disaster. We don't have to pretend to be someone whom we are not. We can share with people, this is who we are, and we'll deal with this a little later again. The idea is, most people inside the classroom believe that they are very ordinary, and therefore the goals and the dreams that we have are very ordinary. Our capacity is to swim for 60 hours, but we give up after 2 minutes. Now those rats died. In our case, we won't die, but our dreams die. Our drive dies. Our mission, our ambitions die. You'll bring about a twist in the class. And you will tell the class, by the way, do you know, even children who come first, second and third are not super confident. Do you agree with me? The other day, Bharti was driving along with a boy who in class 10th has scored 97.8% marks. Let's call him Mr. Buddhishali. Just like you. Mr. Buddhishali, 97.8%. And Bharti was praising him and saying, you are so good. And he immediately, very sadly said, but I'm only good in one thing. I'm only good in studies. Now the truth of life is, even those who come first, second and third not necessarily have a healthy self-esteem or a high self-esteem or a high sense of belief. Sometimes they are surprised by their own results. Have some of you gone through that? You went very sadly to correct your mark sheets. Then you totaled, शायद misguide totaling में गलती हुआ है. Because after the exam, you cried and you came home. And when people asked you also, आज exam कैसा गया? Don't talk to me. And then you see these marks. Huh? ऐसे कैसे हो गया? It's almost like one of those mornings if you wake up and you find your gender has changed. How do you feel? Hey! Bad sleep, go back. Go back. Go back to dream. This is not possible. And I'm confident none of you have experiential realization of this. How many of you seen this movie, Bahubali? And that brother-in-law is there. Bahubali's, what's his name? Kumar? That only. Remember they went to hunt for pigs. And Bahubali was shooting and that one thought, he's killing the pigs. And do you remember his face? Hui! Aise kaise? Impossible. But then when he comes back, and then when he is given another challenge, he gets scared. Even the top performers so often go through these two. One, surprise. हुआ कैसे? लोगों को जो समझना है समझने दो. And second, sometimes they are scared. एक बार तो हो गया, अगली बार. Because now that fellow who scored 97.8, next time when he scores 97.5, people will look at him and say, इस बार कम क्यों? भाई कम. Their entire first standard to 10th standard total was 97.8. Now they get scared. Accomplishments do not lead to healthy self-esteem or high self-belief. There is something else which leads to confidence and self-belief. It is not results. It is not name. It is certainly not claps. There are two kinds of dreamers. One who talk about their dreams, and the other who walks towards their dreams. High self-esteem belongs to people who walk towards their dreams. When I'm not walking towards my self dreams, I will always have a crisis inside. When I'm taking even baby steps towards my dreams, I will have a feeling which we call as being alive. When I die, and if there is a tombstone, on the tombstone they write the, let's say the summary of somebody's life. Like an Osho's tombstone, it is written, visited this, never born, never died, visited this planet Earth between so and so dates. It defines them. On my tombstone, I would like to be written, born alive, died alive. And what makes me believe that I am alive? Again, it's not looks, it's not accomplishments, it's not money, it's not claps, celebrations, achievements. It is, am I walking towards my dreams? Am I making efforts towards my dreams? In the present circumstances, whatever is possible for me, am I doing something about my dreams? Or is it that I'm just talking about my dreams? एक दिन मेरे को ये करने का है. Or is it, आज मैं कुछ तो करूंगा? When you take a few steps towards your dreams, you feel alive. It can be something as simple as, like we were discussing with Chaya. Chaya was saying that I love to travel. And my travel falls into two categories. One, when I go out with friends, and the other, my mother is old and she has a desire to visit certain pilgrimage centers. So she wanted to go to Vaishno Devi. And we have been talking for a long time, ek din jana, and all my siblings are also saying, ha, one day we will go. But I said, come on, let's go. Made the plan, went there. Now in the entire process of making the plan, coordinating between people, ensuring that we are going there, now she would have felt so alive in the entire process. You feel alive when you're working towards your dreams. So let's say we have Kuldeep Ruchandani. Kuldeep, where are you? There he is. Now Kuldeep, about 1.5 months back, was a little plumper. And today, he's much smaller. Now there will be many people who are fitter than Kuldeep, but who, let's say, are not exercising regularly. And Kuldeep is not as fit as he wants to be. Compared to them, he is not as fit. But he is exercising regularly. Who do you think has greater self-belief? Which means, whatever be your dreams, it can be about planning a holiday or of a pilgrimage with my parents. It can be about, I want to become a fitter person. It can be about, I want to learn this thing. Let's say I want to learn how to play a musical instrument. If you're living a life where you are taking a few steps towards your dreams, you will experience something called, I feel I'm alive. The world's opinion now does not matter. Today, if somebody, let's say, looks at Kuldeep and says, "Tu to bahut mota hai," you think he'll go into depression? What will he do? He'll just look at them and smile and say, "Hmm, 2 महीने बाद मिलेंगे." फिर अपन फैट परसेंटेज कंपेयर करेंगे. And he'll say that with so much fun. मजा आ रहा है because I know I'm on the path. It's only a question of time. I am taking walk. I am taking steps. I am walking towards my dreams. Don't chase your dreams because you want accomplishments. Chase your dreams because you want to feel alive. Because the day you accomplish it will be very small. I mean, that will be one day. One day when he takes that measurement and he finds that his fat percentage has become 12. He saw it. He will believe he's done something fantastic. But that moment lasts for what? 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. You shifted into a house of your dreams, and how long did you have that high? You got a gold medal. How long was that high? But the process of moving from today to that 12%, now that might take 1 year, and every day of that 1 year, he will be alive. So don't chase your dreams because of the accomplishment that it gives to you. That is by default, it will come. And one dream is over, you will always move towards the next one. Take a few steps towards your dreams because it makes you feel alive. And there are 3 things that you keep in mind when you go towards your dreams. Now I'm speaking to you about the dreams that you might be having. You speak inside the class about the dreams which you think the children might be having. When you have your team meetings, in your team meetings you will discuss about what are your dreams? How are you going to make it alive? What are the steps that you will immediately take? Every AC will make every person in the group accountable. Now, this session is a chance for everybody in the group to be a champ friend to each other. This is the time for us to live by the previous 2 sessions. No blame, no complaint, no excuse. And I am going to be a champ friend. All of you should be Amitabh Bachchans who wants to meet with Shah Rukh Khan, and it should be easy. Let's go through a personal transformation like never before in our life. By living this session, and by the time you go inside the classroom, you should be able to say, this is the dream that I carry, and these are the steps that I have taken in the last few days to walk towards my dream. And in case some of you are already walking towards your dreams, you can speak about that dream and say, this is the dream I had 3 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 2 weeks ago. And these are the steps that I have taken, and this is where I want to reach. As you walk towards your dreams, chances are when you say this, people in the class have a little fear. What if I fail? And we'll tell them, there are 3 mantras that you keep in mind. Mantra number 1. It is absolutely okay to be a little scared, a little insecure, and a little doubtful about yourself. There is nothing wrong in that. Every time you wish to do something which is outside your comfort zone, every time you wish to do something which is a little more than what you know you can do, these thoughts and these feelings are bound to happen. Whether you have come 10th in class and you want to come first, these thoughts will be there. Even if you have come first in class and you want to come first again, these thoughts might be there. These thoughts are not your enemies. These thoughts are very natural. They are there for you to become alert, and they are there for you to do two things. One, know their presence, that they have come. And two, deal with them, don't give in to them. So, what you're going to say, the first point is, it is very, very natural for us to be a little scared, a little insecure, and a little doubtful about ourselves. Almost every human being on this planet goes through this. So, if you are also going through this, congratulations, you are another human being. Absolutely okay. Point number two. Now, this is a very important point. While you have the goals in your mind, be a little flexible about the path that you want to choose. The world is changing so fast, so fast. The options which exist today might become obsolete tomorrow, and those options which do not exist tomorrow, today, will become the options of the tomorrow. For example, I had never thought I will write. And a friend told me, since you speak well, you will also be able to write well. I said, I'm more comfortable with being spontaneous, and writing takes a lot of discipline. In talking, the speed is higher. In writing, speed becomes very slow. In talking, I can speak at the speed of my thoughts. In writing, I can't do that. So my spontaneity will go away. That friend, Mukil was her name, she said, give it a shot. Na? Let's see what happens. I started writing. People start enjoying what I write. And about 10 years ago, one friend, Sailesh, said, Naren, I want to begin my week by reading something from you. So can you just write one paragraph by email and send it to me? Those days WhatsApp was not there and messages were costly. Said, every Monday morning, can you send me one paragraph? I want to begin my day with that. Okay. 10 more friends came to know that I was sending one paragraph to him, and they said, why don't you send to me also? I said, Baba, Monday nahi ho payega. Monday subah office meeting rehta hai. What I will do, I'll start writing on Tuesdays and send it to you. That which began about 10 years ago as a paragraph developed in me a desire to write. In these years, we have written 15 books. In these years, every Tuesday, we write something called Life School Message. And today we have 42,000 plus subscribers for that across 44 countries in the world. And the team at office knows from very beautiful places, we get mails about how this LSM has become the transforming point of their life, how this Life School Message, we call it as LSM, has changed their life completely. The desire was to write, and the desire was to write well. How big it will become? What is the path I need to choose? What was just a mail? Had no idea it will become 15 books. This year, out of these 7 sessions, the desire is to write 7 books. Each session should become a book by itself. Don't you think it will be helpful? Imagine these sessions as books, e-books. Anybody can download anywhere and just read it and enjoy it and grow in their lives. I want to be a writer and I want to continue to write as long as I am alive. But let me not block it by saying only LSM, only books. Whatever options I have tomorrow, I will choose that. We need to become a little flexible when it comes to the methods and the path. And if we have a long-term goal in front of us, nothing like that, beautiful. If not a long-term goal, at least a short-term goal. You're in class 10. So in class 10, what you tell your children is, I don't know about big goals of life, but why don't you have a goal for your board exams? Why don't you have a goal towards fitness? Why don't you have a goal towards relationships? Why not a goal towards your friends? And take a few steps towards those goals every day. Don't bother about how big the goal is. Your job is to take a few steps towards that goal every day. So be a little flexible in your approach and in the path. And the third and the most crucial point. Inside each one of us, there are two voices. One we call as the voice of shame. And the other we call as voice of being alive. Voice of shame is a very crummy voice. Voice of shame always makes me believe I'm not good enough. Voice of shame makes me look at people looking at me with eyes of rejection. Voice of shame makes me scared of being hurt, therefore I don't trust people. Voice of shame makes me think about what if I fail, and therefore I don't even give it a shot. Voice of fail just makes me want to act in very small domains where I'm supremely comfortable. Like we say, comfort zone not only keeps us safe, but it also keeps us very small. And that's the work of voice of shame. It makes me think, I can't. Voice of shame makes me hold on to old painful memories instead of holding on to the old, beautiful, pleasurable, enthusiastic, positive, powerful, life-enhancing memories. Voice of shame always makes me think something is not okay, something is not okay, something is not okay, something is not okay. It is voice of shame which made me have a desire that if I have a girlfriend, everything in my life will get solved. If the teacher is better, everything in my life will get solved. If I move around with children who are doing less than me, everything in my life will get solved. Voice of shame does not allow me to rise. Voice of shame never allows me to hold myself to high standards. Voice of shame makes me believe it is okay, absolutely okay, if I'm not a man of my words. Voice of shame is loud. Voice of shame will be screaming in your head all the time, telling you you're not good enough. You and me may not have the wisdom to see it as voice of shame, and we might see it as people are judging. So even if somebody looks at Kuldeep and says, "Tu bahut mota hai," the voice of shame inside him will say, people are not good. वो आदमी बुरा है, उसका क्या है? वो मेरे को क्यों ऐसे नजर से देख रहा है? I know something inside me is not okay, and I don't see it that way. So the voice of shame tells me something is not okay in the world outside. You and me will get completely alive with that 2 minutes of swim and give up, instead of the 60 hours of swimming and go up, if we anchor ourselves to voice of shame. Have I failed in life? Enough number of times. Has my understanding of people gone wrong? Enough number of times. Do I trust people even today? Completely. There will be a voice of shame inside us, which is more dominating than the other voice. Your responsibility: be alert to the voice of shame. Don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. And if it does pop up, which it will, its work is to pop up every now and then, multiple times in a day. Watch it and tell it, I'm sorry, I'm not listening to you. And the second voice is the voice of being alive, which makes you believe you're a good person, which shows you everything which is right in life, which tells you, remember that memory and you did something so wonderful? It means you are capable. The voice of shame will tell you, remember that thing that you did and you failed? And that's loud. And the voice of being alive is soft. It whispers, it does not shout. Hence, this voice gets drowned. Why so much cream is sold in our country to become fair? It's not fair. Voice of shame. We still live in a country where if a girl is not fair, the dadi or the nani or one of them might look at the child and say, "Ye to kali hai." Voice of shame. And I remember sharing with you when I was asked, first time when I was a chief guest in a college, and there were about 1,000 girls in the auditorium, it was a girls' college, and one of the chulbulis asked me this question: whom do you think is the most beautiful woman on earth? Now, there are some questions you should never answer. Trapped. What do you say? I said, Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa. The most beautiful woman alive. Missionaries of charity, they feed 6 million people every day. Jiska koi nahi, uska khuda yaro. She's a living example of that verse. Bent because she has arthritis, wrinkles all over her face, white sari, 2 borders, blue in color. No glamour, but the most beautiful woman. And how many people wear anti-wrinkle cream? Pond's anti-wrinkle night cream. So that when you wake up, mirror, mirror on the wall. Don't ask me about my age. Why not? Voice of shame. It's loud. And it makes us believe something about us is not good enough. And voice of being alive says, you are on the right path. You're doing something phenomenal. Come on. Go on. Will you succeed tomorrow? I don't know. It might take me 1 year. But I'm not going to give up. Because I'm not meant to fail. I'm not destined to fail. I'm going to swim for 60 hours and not for those 2 minutes. As you take these sessions, as you speak about your life, as you analyze your own past, listen to this voice inside. Both these voices will be crying for attention. Voice of shame and voice of being alive. 2 voices. Voice of shame versus voices of being alive. From today onwards, when these 2 voices fight inside, who will win? Are you sure? Have you heard about John Stephen Akhwari? Now that's the story of the session. 1968, Mexico Olympics. Marathon. The last race of Olympics. And people are super excited. The first runner, an Ethiopian, enters the stadium and the whole stadium erupts into joy. And as he crosses the finishing line, there are thundering celebrations for him. A little behind, there is John Stephen Akhwari. Around 30 kilometers. His head starts spinning. He feels very weak. And he falls down. He has multiple bruises. He has wounds. And doctors immediately want to take care of him and they tell him, you are not in any condition to run. Please retire. He says, no, I want to complete. He takes close to an hour in those last 12 kilometers. And he hobbles across the finishing line. When instead of the thousands, a little less than 1,000 people are there in the stadium. This finishing is called as one of the most heroic finishing in Olympics ever. Because doctors are saying you are in no condition to run. Wounds and blood oozing from your leg. The head is heavy and the head is spinning. Everybody tells him on the road for 12 kilometers, it's okay, give up, it's okay, give up, it's okay, leave it. He doesn't listen to anybody and with determination keeps on running, completes the race and just collapses. He was called the hero of that Olympics. And in the interview later on when he was asked, why did you not give up? John Stephen Akhwari, who's from Nigeria, looks at that reporter with zero doubt in his mind, his eyes, his face, and he says, "My country did not send me to start the race. My country sent me to finish the race." Now imagine for 12 kilometers, what will be going inside John's head? Voice of shame will say, तेरे से नहीं होगा, छोड़ दे. देखो लग गया है, छोड़ दे. बहुत दिक्कत है, छोड़ दे. बहुत तकलीफ वाला चीज है, छोड़ दे. दुख रहा है, छोड़ दे. 4 साल बाद वापस आ जाना. शायद अपनी किस्मत में नहीं है. वक्त से पहले किस्मत से ज्यादा किसको मिल सकता है? अपने शायद लिखा हुआ नहीं है. And nobody in the world would have complained. But the voice of being alive says, I have a goal. And I have to take a few steps towards my goal. It might take me 5 hours to complete this race. I don't care. But giving up is not my nature. I was not sent to just participate. I was not sent to start. I was sent over here to complete the race. Which voice won? The voice of shame or the voice of being alive? Let us end this session by repeating, don't chase your dreams for accomplishments. Chase your dreams to feel alive. This world needs people who are alive. Your family needs somebody who is alive. Your friends need somebody who is alive. This country needs somebody who is alive. Accomplishments might happen, it may not happen. But live alive. And when you also die, may your tombstone also be written with, born alive and died alive. So before your death, you will not die. You will stay alive. Shall we? So wish you all the best in this session. It's a little tough session. It's not as easy as हर एक friend जरूरी होता है. That was easy because you have to take chits, read something, everybody is laughing, so you are having a good time. This session has to be raw power. You have to be at your peak. You must be in your zone when you go inside the classroom to take the session. You should be like Tahir Bhai and Anil, being there 30, 40 minutes before and just dreaming, analyzing, visualizing. The lives of children inside the classroom will completely change. Not a single child in your class should ever listen and believe in the voice of shame. They should all listen and believe in the voice of. Now that's the challenge that I give to all of you. Live these days with this, and let's see what is the brilliant turnaround that we bring first in our lives and then in the lives of our children.